Hello friends, today we are going to learn voice change or change the voice, active voice and passive voice. So let's start voice change. Active and passive voice. Verbs are said to be either active or passive in active voice sentences. The subject performs the action stated by the verb. In passive voice sentences, the subject is acted upon by the verb. When the subject of the verb does the action, the voice of the verb is said to be active. When the subject of the verb in a sentence receives the action, the voice of the verb is said to be passive. The doer in the sentence is called the subject. The receiver of the action done by the subject is called the object. We use the passive voice when we are more interested in the action than the person who does it or when we do not know the active subject. The passive form of writing and speaking is not preferred in common usage since all active constructions cannot be transformed into passive constructions mechanically. Even if such transformation is possible, we do not write or speak such a sentence. It is considered unnatural. Now, reasons to use passive voice. First, the cause of the action is not known. For example, my cycle was stolen by somebody last night. Here, the agent is unknown. Second example, second reason, the action is more significant than the cause of the action. For example, their protest was diluted their protest was diluted after an hour of deliberation. The sense of relief is more important here. Third reason, the cause is commonly known so does not require being mentioned. For example, the house is locked every day. Here, the need or door is already known. Fourth reason, emphasis is to be given to the most important information first. For example, a new expensive watch has been given to me as a gift. What is the gift is more important here. Passive voice constructions can often be found in the following text types: newspaper and formal reports, description of processes, academic writing including reporting of scientific experiment. Then next, general rules to be followed in change of voice. First, the object of the sentence in active voice becomes the subject of the sentence in passive voice. The subject of the sentence in active voice becomes the object of the sentence in passive voice. Third, the passive voice contains the third form of the main or finite verb. Fourth, the form of the verb is chosen according to the tense of the sentence. Fifth, only transitive sentences can be changed into passive voice. Intransitive sentences do not have an object, so they cannot be changed into passive voice. Sixth, in passive sentences, helping verb is placed before the main verb. Be is the verb that changes into is, am, are, was, were as helping verbs according to the person of the subject. In passive sentences, the preposition is placed before the object of the sentences, which was earlier the subject in active voice. For example, I drink water. Here I is subject, drink verb in active voice, water is object. Then next, water is drunk by me. Here subject is water and drunk is verb in passive voice. By me, by plus object. Preposition change. In passive voice, with is used as a preposition in place of by when we refer to an instrument used. For example, active voice, the dog was hit with a stone. Passive, somebody hit the dog with a stone. Here the agent is not known, so we use somebody. Second, the prepositions which are used with verbs in active voice are retained in passive voice. For example, active voice, the visitors looked at the exhibit. Passive, the exhibit was looked at by the visitors. Few other prepositions are used in passive voice with selective verbs. For example, shocked at, pleased at or with, disgusted with, annoyed at, filled with, contained in, objected to, alarmed at, frightened at, satisfied with, etc. The modals can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must remain the same in the passive voice. Sorry. They are clubbed with be plus past participle in the passive form. For example, active, I can read the book in an hour. Passive, the book can be read by me in an hour. Active, I will hold a seat for you. Passive, a seat will be held for you by me. Changing to plus verb. When a sentence has to plus verb in active voice, it is changed to to plus be plus past participle in passive voice. For example, active voice, I need to send for a therapist. Passive, a therapist is to be sent for by me. Active, he hopes to join me. Passive, he hopes to be joined by me. Changing interrogative sentences. The question remains a question and is not changed into an assertive sentence. Second, the auxiliary verb precedes the subject. The sentence in passive voice also ends with a question mark. The remaining changes are as per the general rules. Question words like where, what, why, etc. are retained in the passive voice in interrogative sentences. However, who is transformed into by whom in passive voice. For example, active, have you finished your work? Passive, has the work been finished by you? Active, where did you keep my wallet? Passive, where was my wallet kept by you? Active, who teaches you dance? Passive, by whom is dance taught to you? Changing imperative sentences. The object which becomes the subject in passive voice is preceded by let and is followed by be plus past participle. Second, if the imperative sentence has no object, then the verb changes according to the mood of the sentence, be it advice, command, or request. To is used to introduce the imperative mood in the sentence. For example, active, deliver the goods. Passive, let the goods be delivered. Active, sit quietly. Passive, you are ordered to sit quietly. Active, save money. Passive, you are advised to save money. So here our chapter voice change is over. Thank you so much.